Hi, I'm Darrel Tank, and I'm going to do a little demonstration that I hope will, give you a few ideas about what you can do to make your picture more effective. It's a demonstration in the ongoing critique series, and you'll see many more of them back at 5pencilmethod.com and on YouTube. But I encourage you, if you haven't done it already, to go to 5pencilmethod.com and take advantage of the free tutorials as well. And it's, I think, a benefit in that you'll know what I'm talking about and referring to, because everything that I refer to here, I'm probably going to be referencing the 5-pencil method technique. So if you understand that that's the context, it's not to say everything should be like my method, but the students that send these things in are probably wanting to know how they can do better at the 5-pencil method. So make sure you take advantage of the free lessons. There's a lot of exercises, and you'll learn about the core principles and all those things. So I don't think this will take real long because I just really want to make a point. I think this is such a wonderful picture. I know I often say that because I just enjoy artwork at so many different levels, and it's so great that you're actually doing something and it looks like you're having fun. And at whatever level you are, again, you have the opportunity to express yourself and create something and have fun. And that's really what I'm after. But in doing this, I want to just kind of give you my immediate impression when I'm looking at this, that is wonderful and just delicate and expressive as this picture is. It has so much personality, and it's such a soft compliment to this girl. I see things that are darker. And if you have things that are maybe an exaggeration at one end or the other in your range of value, you're often going to have that catch your eye. We want to take advantage of it when we're using a highlight in the eye and not have a lot of competition all over, because we want to be able to have that opportunity to guide the viewer where we want them to look, at least initially, or to keep coming back to who that person is in a portrait. But in this case, I see a few places where there's darker value, and I think there are places that should be at least as dark, and or a few more places that could be included that will help this have maybe a little bit more balance and not be so apt to just take your eye maybe up here. I think it's good that the pupils are dark, but I also want to keep those in balance. Probably the darkest places you're going to have on a human body, but I don't want to have them be the only thing so that they don't just stick out. So let's just take a look at a few places. I would suggest that you could balance this out by also suggesting that there's darker places within the inside of the mouth. Now, I wouldn't make every place past the teeth that dark. I want to kind of take into consideration that this could be to the right or left of a tongue, and so I want to be able to go in there where there's less light, as you hear me talk about often if you follow these tutorials. But this, I think, is a great opportunity for us to develop dimension and something your mind is looking for. When you go to where there's less light, it will be getting darker. And so we know that this is probably the way it should be instinctively, because we know in the recesses of the mouth, way back there, especially with the mouth partially closed, that we're going to have some very dark spaces in there. So we could do that. And then, these are minor little things, but I think the tiny things are often the most powerful when you're drawing. So I want to just point some of these things out. It looks to me like this, it could be, even in this small space, a little bit more of a range. Now, if it wasn't supposed to be that dark, then you might make the other side of this value for that nostril you might make it lighter, so you don't have to go so dark. But having a clean edge and then fading it away helps us to have the feeling that we're looking at something this way and it goes up and out of our sight instead of looking into the recesses of the nose. And I'm using an extremely dark pencil to make sure that this shows up for you. And it also adheres to this printing paper, which isn't ideal, but it still gives me the opportunity to do these demonstrations for you. So we'll come over here and we'll take the top, make sure it's clean. And for those of you who don't know, I make a clean edge to things I want to separate, elements that I want to separate, things that I want to have in front or in something that I want to push behind something. I need a clean edge to be able to do that. And this is one of the very powerful things you can do to your picture. And it's so easy if you just stop and think about it. So that's why I would have a clean edge here at the top of the teeth. That's why I would have a clean edge here where the pupil goes underneath the eyelid. And then I would fade it down. To make sure I understand, even though it doesn't seem like it really may make that much difference, my mind is picking up on these things because these are some of the very important things that it wants to know. Where is it going? Is it darker back there? Is it going underneath something or around and out of our sight? And when you see a clean edge, it just perfectly illustrates that. So if this is dark down here along the edge of this iris, then I'm going to probably want to make this a little darker than this up here. I don't have to have things just fade away and not know what to do with them, because some of these principles, again, are going to give me opportunities to look like I know what I'm doing even when I can't see my source. And I want all of you to have that same opportunity to have some confidence that these rules work as long as you use your common sense. They work. So let's go ahead and pick out an edge to her neck. And if I fade this way, then that suggests that it was getting darker as it went around behind her neck. It's just that basic fundamental thing that your mind picks up on without you really realizing it. And if you capitalize on that and put it in your pictures, it's going to make things a whole lot different and more effective. So we could go ahead and we could take this as darker. I want to make sure I don't commit myself on a neck that isn't structured right, but we can go ahead and have much more depth. Maybe there's a place in here that keeps this from just being a space filled in. This up here that keeps this from being a space filled in. Maybe we can take this and just add a little more value in one area so that it isn't flat again, because everything that's flat is going to be the same color. Everything that's the same color won't have any dimension to it, and we're not going to be able to show contour and depth. Even in the darkest areas, I want to be able to show some range of value so I'm not just stuck with something that is nondescript. So maybe this is back here a ways. I got to get this in the picture. I got to keep thinking about that because I leave you guys wondering, where is he drawing now? Oh, back there somewhere. But everything I apply, I want to be able to have, again, that range. So there's either a deeper part or something is contoured. We can come in here on the collar, and if we wanted to, it depends on how much of a focus we want this to be. But we could come in here and make sure that if this is going up here to where there's less light, that it gets darker. And we can actually have an opportunity to create a little bit more of an edge this way too, without leaving a line. And show things disappearing. Wonderful opportunities for dimension, as you probably have heard me say many times. But if you haven't, I hope this will maybe give you some new options to use, making sure that things are brought to an end, that they're maybe a little darker where, again, logically, there would be less light. So this is very simple. I didn't want to get real involved in this, and I hope that this gives you a little bit of an idea of, when you look at it overall, how you can bring a little bit more balance into your portrait so that your eyes don't unnecessarily go just to one part, or where you might have the feeling that something is maybe not finished. And I think that putting a little more value in some of these places helped us, again, make the pupils even more effective, or make this not the focus. It isn't about this, it's about the overall girl. So we kind of frame that in and bring attention back to her again. So I hope you were able to learn something from this and you enjoyed it. And don't forget to take advantage again of those free tutorials and the other critiques, both on YouTube and at 5pencilmethod.com. See you later. Hope you have fun drawing.